Good afternoon, and welcome to the inaugural issue of Made You Look magazine. The idea behind this show is to promote each other by creating people first, real down to earth video content that benefits everyone. So, we're going to have a business owner just like me, probably just like you if you're watching this on every single week. And what we're going to do, talk news, views, opinions, personalities behind the businesses as well. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce Chow from Apple Digital, who is a social media superstar. Chow, welcome to the show.
Hi Bruno, how you doing? Thanks for having me
You
firstly. Thank you.
are.
I feel honored.
No, no. No, thanks for coming on. Thanks for taking the time. I want to, promote you. I know how good you are, what the things you do at Apple Digital, smashing it on the
Thank you.
social media side. So, I suppose without further ado, tell me a story, where you came from, what's the crack with Apple Digital? Who are you?
um, well, firstly, thanks for making me sound like someone amazing, special. I'm not. For the live people watching, I'm not. I'm just Chow, a kid. I was born in Vietnam. Yeah, my backstory. I was born in Vietnam. For the first 8 years of my life, I lived there, and then moved to England in 2002, the end of 2002, and then stayed in Nottingham ever since as well. So I'm based in Nottingham now, and in terms of sort of my working background, we were all sort of market traders in Vietnam, like selling on the store. So I remember being as from the age of 2, my mum taking me to market store, things like that in Vietnam. So yeah, I kind of grew up all my life, even as a child, like sort of around market traders, being a market trader. So that's sort of where I came from in terms of background and business. My parents are both Vietnamese. I actually moved to England, wasn't able to speak English at all, not a single word. Um, I could say hello, and that's it. And I kind of just learned. I got put straight in primary school and just learned through kids playing out on the street and things like that. So that's, to be fair, that's probably one of the reasons why it's led me now to do SEO and looking at language and getting the right grammar. I've had to do a lot for myself. Um, yeah, so that's sort of my background, really, where it came from. And now, working life again, we still did market trading actually in England. And it wasn't until I turned 16 that I sort of left the market trading, like completely gone, just because I took a part-time job in England. I started working at Papa John's Pizza, and then at that time when I was 16, Papa John's my first part-time job, and then I just coming from a background of working, I just kind of got like a bit of addicted to working more. I want to earn more money, so I took on more part-time job. So I actually ended up between the age of 16 to 20, I was juggling between 3 to 4 part-time jobs every year consistently.
Fair
So
play.
working a lot of hours. And one of those sports direct as well, working sports direct retail, hospitality as well, nightclub, hosted comedy shows, boxing shows. But predominantly I was a barman in a nightclub, serving drinks. But again, I kind of worked my way up through these jobs as well and started as handing out leaflets. So a lot of working experience in retail, customer service, even in food. Papa John's, I was there for 2.5 years. I ended up being in the kitchen and doing deliveries as well. And I started on the reception. And with that, I wanted to sort of jump into a career again, working earning money. I like the idea of working something for myself because my mom, that's where how I grew up. My mom was a market trader. She literally worked for herself all her life, selling family made stuff, things that she made herself. So I wanted to get into something that was going to make me a lot more money than just market trading, like buy one get one free, £10, £20. And I knew something that was growing was technology. That's something that there's always going to be money in that, loads of money in technology. And I jumped into that, and then I sort of quit all my part-time jobs and took a career in IT. So from the age of about 20, no, 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 yeah, 20, I took on an apprenticeship in IT, which was full time, 35 hours. So I left everything, my nightclub job, Sports Direct, just to focus on that and start working on that. Because at the same time, I was kind of burning myself out because I have a little hobby. Like it involves fighting. It's quite violent. It's not who I am at all as a personality, ignoring the issues and things like that. But yeah, I like to do mixed martial arts. So I took part in competition as well when I was 18. And from then, when Facebook came about, it was a way for me to also promote myself through fighting. And I was posting a lot of things like Fight Week and things like that. Getting a lot of attraction. Social media was a new thing that only came about in 2004 for the UK, made it a big, no, till 2005. But I signed up to it anyway and started using it from there and consistently. So seeing it grow, it was never even created for a business sense, which is why I sort of use it for business now, again, to make money for social media. And yeah, it was that. If anything, it's probably my passion because I do love it. I love getting into fights, watching it with my mates. I didn't mean getting into fights, as in like going out, getting into fights. I meant I love the feeling of knowing that I've got a scheduled fight coming up, the adrenaline rush, the feeling afterwards of getting your hand raised for the win, all of that. And that was also taking a lot of time. So I kind of even put a bit of a stop to the training in the early days to sort of really truly focus on developing my skill. No, because I was in a role where I was selling IT solutions, but because of my background, I didn't go to university or anything. I kind of flopped my A levels as well here, and I just learned. I knew I needed to learn on the job, and it was a bit the role that I was in and the company that hired me. It was a bit more than just selling for the money. It was knowing what you're talking about, looking after clients, looking after customers. That's kind of where I developed all my customer service skills, experience, selling, everything, earning more money as well. I was able to buy my own house, and which I'm in now. As you can see, I bought that in 2017, saved up enough money. Even at that point, one of my old boss, I said, I've got all this money, and what do I do with it? He said, well, is what some people do. They invest it. I didn't even know what that term meant. Things like that, investing. So now I understand it, investing something to get something in return. So it's like at the time I was like, okay, I'll just put it in a house. I buy a house, at least I'll get to move out. So yeah, and I left home at the age of 21 as well, and then managed to buy my own house, work to save up enough to buy my own house at the age of 24. I'm 28 now, so 4 years on, I've been working for myself, and now we do social media marketing, specialize in social media work for businesses, helping new businesses grow and helping the corporate businesses sort of extend their sales or maybe expose their brand, depending what the client needs. And that really is now my focus because I've learned that through my IT job, where we provided a managed service for people, delivering IT services, solutions, support. The typical. Have you turned it on and off yet? I've worked for one of those companies, now, so when I thought I had enough experience, had enough understanding of the system, tax and things like that, I thought I haven't got this after my house, have a go for myself. Why not? And I wanted to get, again, IT was also part of what I did when I left, I wanted to do it for myself, but with my mind, I've always been working, wanted to learn something new. I thought new, everyone's getting online, social media. I'm already familiar with that. I can promote websites to that because that is the main thing that I wanted to do. Our first website that was based on the fact that I knew I could help businesses grow through a modern way of doing websites where it's just visual based for end users. I know that's not enough. And what I'd actually ended up doing for these new businesses that I started a new business with doing websites is I helped improve their SEO rankings and content building, everything like that, and all through social media. Something I didn't realize because at first, like I said, I did website, social media, marketing, IT support, everything like that in total when I started on my own, and it got too much. So now we're at a point where the entire business is completely all focused on doing social media marketing for businesses, helping them raise it purely because I've managed to do that for myself before COVID and during COVID, and help businesses continue to get work during COVID as well. Through the darkest of times, in all honesty. And like you said earlier, it's you've got someone on just as a normal individual like everyone else. Yeah, you're completely right. I've kind of been going through that. Still going through it now. It's still tough for everybody, but a lot better than where I was 3-4 years ago when I first started, because all the natural fears that everybody gets, like when you start your own business, like, oh, you're going to fail in the first 3 years. Most businesses lose money in the first 3 years. But again, just my mindset is like, well, if you numbers are numbers, they don't change. So if you're doing numbers and your vision isn't to fail, is to make money in 3 years, you will make money in 3 years. Depends on what you do in between. So yeah, that's where we're at now. I run a digital marketing agency doing all social media, helping businesses succeed online, called Apple Digital. And as a hobby on the side, I actually now, because I've been doing mixed martial arts since the age of 14, these businesses and my skills for this business have helped me grow my mixed martial arts side. And I now run an MMA club teaching kids in local areas where there's not really that kind of thing around. And that grew through social media, again, just through my own fighting, promoting myself with social media. So yeah, and it's amazing. It's a wicked feeling, because if you remember, I mentioned it's not something that I was even aware I was doing. And a lot of business owners, business people telling me that you did that. This is really good. This is actually amazing. This is what people are paying you for. And that's helped me put all the focus onto doing social media. That's why I got rid of the IT support or the bulk of the website stuff. And yeah, just put all my focus on that and just get my mind right to run it. And then my training, all that I do for fun, that's sort of helped me stay focused, stay disciplined. So it's kind of the same message I want to give out there to people. And it starts, I think, from kids, as young as kids, really.
Yeah, you've really, really clearly lived a rich life, loads of experiences in it.
Not yet. Rich life will come.
Well, comparatively to a lot of people, I'd say it sounds like you lived quite a rich and diverse life. And it sounds to me, correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds to me like you're one who will shift to wherever the work is, rather than saying, this is what I do, I'm too proud to change. You know, you're willing to adapt, to move and evolve to where's the work, what's popular, what's a booming industry. You reckon?
Always, yeah. And even though I said I knocked off IT support on web, that doesn't mean there isn't loads of money and they were dropping off. There is. Web is forever developing loads of money and loads in IT. Like you said, it's growing with times. And I think it helps me a lot being sort of raised in Vietnam at first, being in at the time a third world country. Because I don't even remember, but do you watch Top Gear, by the way?
I do, yeah, I do.
So do you remember the Top Gear in Vietnam?
Not specifically, no.
Okay, no, but that just okay. But most Top Gear, I say most now because you're actually the first one. Every other Top Gear fan I've met, I say, "Have you seen the one in Top Gear?" They say, "Yeah, I love that one. Oh, that makes me always want to go." Or yeah, I went and Vietnam was amazing. And I'm going to be completely honest, having raised in Vietnam and I've been watching Top Gear as a kid. I don't now anymore as much, to be honest, since Jeremy Clarkson left. He was the funny one. Sorry, BBC. And since then, that brought in so much tourism to Vietnam, so much money. It's developed. When I was growing up in Vietnam, you wouldn't see a single car. You might see one in a whole year. That you know that instantly belonged to a rich family. You go there now, there's cars everywhere, motorways, so developed. So yeah, it's changed massively, and I think it's good for people to understand that you have to grow as time goes on. Otherwise, you kind of get dragged back behind. And it does fall in line with what I do, because I remember seeing this quote somewhere, and this was actually on a drive, on a billboard somewhere. I honestly can't remember where, because the first part of my life here in this country, traveled pretty much nearly everywhere in the country you can think of: Mansfield, Grimsby, Manchester, Bath, Birmingham, Hyde, Wolverhampton, everywhere like that, to do market store setting up with my parents. So I remember seeing billboard somewhere, and it said, if your business doesn't eventually transition online, it will be phased out.
Okay, yeah.
And now we're at this point here now, and it, like, just everything that's happened with COVID, I'm like, that is so true. That's bloody true. And then I just think back, like, what's actually helped me to, like, say, even sell these tickets that I've like the online stuff. And yeah, that's been I've been able to apply my skills that I've been able to do personally and for myself to sort of new businesses through understanding them, to do all the jobs that I've had sort of in customer service, understanding people, meeting loads of different people, being bilingual as well. I couldn't speak English, and I learned. And to be honest, I've forgotten a lot of Vietnamese now. So I'm learning again. But
you know what I love, though, really scratching beneath the surface, you know, behind the brand, who is the person, what's the story, you know, the people behind the businesses. I think I really, really enjoyed just listening to, you know, to your history, where you've come from, what your story is. And I just want, you know, that's exactly why I started this magazine. I wanted to
I'm
start.
surprised I don't put you to sleep, to be honest.
Wow. No, I really enjoy sort of, learning about such broad ranges of people. And that's the whole idea behind this. So, Joe, thank you very much for sharing that. I really do appreciate that.
No worries.
I've got another question for you. What's the one thing or the one piece of advice, the biggest piece of advice that you'd give to someone knowing what you know now, going into business today? Big question. I do realize that. I put you on the spot, but
That's cool. That's cool. It is a big question. I think taking into account my experience and getting all the advice that I needed at the right time from the right people, I feel like I've listened to the right people. And that's I'll get there'll be two. One really obvious one and one sort of my personal one that I follow. One obvious one that I follow, which everybody will say they follow and things like that, which is true. And that's, I think, the bottom line of goes with everything you do, and that's be good to people. Be good to people regardless. And when you be good to people in business, in personal life, the money will come. Because obviously, let's face it, at the end of the day, everyone goes into business, go to work for money, unless you're a charity, but even then they make money. So you're going to business to make money. So as long as you always have that thought in your head, just be good to people, not money first. Be good to people first. Like the reason why you do these magazines, like you said, people first, and in return, you'll find that you'll get a lot more money. And the one sort of a personal one is that chase the vision. What I mean by that is it is hard with anything you do, to be honest, if you really want it. But at the end of the day, only you know why you will be doing certain things, especially starting a business. And yes, it's the money, but one really good advice I got given to me when I was doing all these businesses and trying all these different things is it's not what you sell, it's why you sell it that people buy. It's the why you do it. So keep thinking yourself why. And to give you an example of what I mean, I have a vision for this business, for Apple Digital Business, where I see it in 3-5 years time. So that is sort of the vision I'm chasing, how that's grown, how to grow it, how I'm gonna develop it in other countries and things like that. That's sort of a vision I've planned. And as long as you believe in what you do for a good reason and you have a good reason, you will get all the right help, and eventually you will get to where you want to be anyway. So
love that.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough, it will be a tough ride, but if you keep chasing your vision and what you believe in, then you'll get
just to bolt on to what you said. I remember someone told me, be nice to the people on the way up because you'll probably need them on the way down.
Yeah, that's true.
Always be nice to people, don't burn your bridges. I think that's some good advice.
Yeah.
And then finally, what do you think the future holds for you, for Apple Digital? Are there perhaps any hot topics or trends within social media, SEO that in itself is obviously a massive hot topic, but is there anything that you think that people who perhaps aren't experts in it should be aware of, that they're going to have to be aware of in the next 5, 10, 15 years?
I mean, if there aren't
experts, aren't
they? Yeah. I mean, the truth is, social media is in itself is forever growing. The hot trend is going to be in technology, and for me personally, what did I say? I'm 28 now, and I'm putting a lot of work in. I have a vision for myself where I see myself in 40 years time, 50 years time, things like that. And it's about being disciplined, sticking to my plan. And the thing that I see in the future that will stay forever, as much as there's a lot of crap with it, is social media, to be honest. Technology as a whole. So my advice for anyone wanting work on a big future where you could potentially earn a lot of money in something, it's an obvious route is technology. Virtual reality, that's a big thing that's developing right now. See, I had this conversation with someone a few years ago, and I didn't actually grasp it. I actually thought, nah, that's not true. But now it's like, no, that's definitely true. It's definitely going to be true. And he said, it's Nick actually. Shout out Nick if you're watching, Nick. Hey up, Nick. He said, "Shout, I bet you in 10 years' time, and I think it's going to be longer. It won't be 10. I'm not going to hold him to the 10 years, but he said, I bet you in 10 years' time, paper money won't exist. There won't be any paper cash, physical cash. And I was like, really? Because again, growing up with market traders, they take a lot of cash. It's like I couldn't understand that concept. And now, obviously, being in the technology with knowing how Bitcoin operates, cryptocurrency, it's like, oh my lord, he's right.
You could be. And I'm going to throw in one final question because you said you work for Papa John's. Does pineapple belong on a pizza? The thing that everyone wants to know.
I'm gonna say what everyone says, and only if it's on a Hawaiian.
Okay, very diplomatic answer. Very diplomatic.
For me, no. To be honest, no.
I'd say
yeah. I mean, I've turned vegan now, but when I was a meat eater, I never liked the concept of fruit with meat.
Yeah,
like cob with applesauce. I'd always leave out the applesauce.
I hear that. Well, Chow, thank you very much for making this the first issue of Made You Look magazine. Awesome.
No problem. First one. You did tell me it was the first one.
No, this is the first one I've ever run. You were there. You showed up. You're on time. The microphone works. The laptop works, and I love that. So, mate, credit to you.
Thank you for having me, mate. No, I've thoroughly enjoyed it. It's wicked.
Pleasure. And everyone, get yourselves onto appledigital.co.uk.
Yes, Apple Digital. At appledigital.co.uk on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn, Apple Digital Limited. Or follow me on Instagram, chow_17.
Awesome. Chow, thank you very much. I love you and leave you. And you have a good day, all right? Peace. Thank you.
Peace out.